Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Suddenly Super, a Twisted Tale novel here on Disney Magic Zach. This is a brand new series that started just last Wednesday. So, if you want to catch up on last week's episode, please do so. We're on chapter 2 today, so let's get into it. 6 minutes later, after walking the 3 streets from the cinema to Matt's house, while Carrie talked Lucy and her friend's ears off, Violet was having second thoughts. From the street, she could see Matt's house was packed. The floor to ceiling windows in the living room revealed groups of teens in clusters, dancing, laughing, and listening to music. Was Tony in there? The sound of laughter permeated the early evening air, and Violet froze. There were lots of conversations going on inside Matt's house. She would have to be part of some. Her breathing grew rapid. Don't panic, she told herself. You can do this. Just stick with Lucy. Ready? Lucy asked, as Violet dragged behind Lucy's friends. Ready, Carrie said, redoing her ponytail as she hurried up a long stone walkway dotted with flower beds. Violet was not ready. Her brief bout of confidence had worn off a street and a half ago. Maybe Carrie and I should just go back to the movies. Carrie ignored her and watched Lucy press the doorbell, the sound of gonging chimes momentarily drowning out the laughter inside. Someone came to the door, and Violet held her breath. It was Matt. He was fair-skinned, had light blonde hair, brown eyes, and broad shoulders that worked to his advantage during football season when he was backup quarterback. Luke, he said, pulling Lucy into a hug before greeting the rest of her friends. The group pushed their way inside, not looking back to see if Violet and Carrie had made it in. Violet watched Lucy disappear into the crowd and tried not to panic. Hi, Matt. Carrie gave him a big smile, revealing her braces. It's Carrie with a K, not a C. I say hi to you in the hallway every day. Not that you'd say hi back, but it's fine. We're saying hi now. Violet cringed. Carrie kept going. You said you were listening to records tonight, and me and my friend Violet Parr, ran into Lucy Daniels. She's a friend of ours, and she told us to stop by. Hey, Carrie from the hallway, Matt said, flashing her a grin that momentarily made Carrie stop rambling. Why don't you both come in? Thanks, Carrie said, recovering and following Matt inside. What new records did you get? I was going to go record shopping this weekend, but I didn't want to use all my babysitter money on new records if there weren't any good. Carrie was moving fast, and Violet had to hurry to keep up. But where was Lucy? Violet had expected her to stick close by. In the sunken living room, kids from school were sitting on cushions on the floor, eyes closed, listening to music playing at top volume. Others were leaning against sliding glass doors that led out to a large garden. A third group was sitting at a table under a funky looking lamp with spikes that reminded her of a porcupine. At the table was Tony. Violet froze. Her heart started to beat faster than it did when she watched Tony run laps during gym class, his reddish brown mop top flopping in the afternoon breeze. He had brown eyes that contrasted with his pale pink skin and crinkled when he laughed, which he was now doing. And he was wearing a navy blue turtleneck, which was a good look for him. Anything he wore was a good look, as far as she was concerned. Violet! Across the living room, Carrie was waving to her from the entrance to the kitchen. Over here! She was so loud she could be heard over the record. Violet hated to think what would happen if the record stopped and Carrie was still calling her name. Tony might look up, and everyone would stare at her some more. She needed to remain calm. Don't disappear, she made herself promise, scanning the room for Lucy again. Violet, do you want a drink? Carrie popped open her collar and the cat went flying. Violet felt her embarrassment deepen. How was she going to walk across its entire room without vanishing? Where was Lucy? You can do this. She took a deep breath and then hurried across the living room, being careful not to step on anyone lying on the green shag pile rug, reading her album liner notes. She reached the kitchen and felt herself relax. Carrie handed her the open cola. I followed Matt in here, but I'm not sure where he went. I realised you weren't behind me and I was like, has anyone seen Lucy? She's our friend. But I'm not sure people believe me, Carrie whispered. Then I saw you staring at you know who and called you in here so we could strategize. Violet felt her confidence wane again. I wasn't staring at anyone. She put a loose strand of hair behind her ear. I was just listening to the record. Good beat, right? A boy passing through the room had stopped to talk to her. Violet felt bile rising in her throat. Then she took another deep breath. Yeah, Violet said, stretching her vocal cords. Really good beat. Good beat? That's all you could come up with? She resisted the urge to smack her own forehead. The boy nodded and walked over to his friends, but still, she had said actual words. She hadn't disappeared from sheer terror. Lucy wasn't even here to be her wing woman. Carrie held up her cola. Here's to our first party, she said with a giggle. Even though Violet wasn't sure she wouldn't wanted anyone to know this was her first party, she couldn't help but want to toast the fact she had survived for her first conversation without her head going AWOL. Party! A pale girl with red hair cheered, clinking her own bottle with theirs, and then suddenly four more people walked over and wanted to cheer as well. Some of them clinked their bottles so hard, Violet worried one would shatter, as that happened to her dad sometimes on account of his super strength. But her dad wasn't here. She was. And right now she was Violet. Perfectly normal Violet. She liked the sound of that. Did you bring any records tonight? Violet looked up. Now a girl with thick black eyeliner, olive skin and a high ponytail, like Carriage was talking to her. She forced herself not to look surprised. No, I forgot. Did you? Bring any records, I mean. Carrie drifted away to talk to someone else, but that was okay because Violet had this girl to talk to. I was pretty sure her name was Denise. Denise was talking about some new record she loved that her brother stole from her. They got into a tugging war over it and the record cracked. Now her jerk brother was trying to make enough money from his paper route to buy her a new one. Violet nodded, feeling in control of her emotions for once. That's terrible. He has to buy you a new one. She agreed and took a swig of her drink. Is he close to saving up enough money? Denise gave Violet a look. I wish. He makes pennies at that paper route. I told him he should just talk to Tony Ridinger about getting a job at the Happy Platter. Hearing Tony's name made Violet's heart thud. Tony, Tony, Tony. The Happy Platter. Carrie sidled up next to them and gave Violet a long look. That's where Tony Ridinger works? Yep, said Denise, grabbing a pretzel from a large bowl on the worktop. His parents own the place. I think he clears the tables. He's got people jobs there before. We should go to the Happy Platter for breakfast tomorrow, Carrie said decisively. And Violet felt her face begin to flame. And then maybe you should get a job there, Carrie nudged her. Do I think that would be a good idea? Denise frowned. Are you looking for a job too, Violet? Denise knew her name, and she hadn't even mentioned it to her. People did know her. That was exciting. What was not exciting was all this Tony and the Happy Platter talk. She wasn't careful, she was going to get overwhelmed, and if she got overwhelmed, she might. No, she couldn't let that happen. Violet stuffed several pretzels in her mouth to keep her from having to talk. She'd love working there, Carrie insisted, giving Violet a knowing look. Wouldn't you, Violet? That place is so good. The pretzels weren't working. Her hands were getting clammy. Was it getting hot in the kitchen? They have great chocolate chip pancakes, said Denise. They do, Carrie batted her eyes. I bet Violet loves them, don't you? Violet felt a bit woozy. Her heart was racing. Don't panic, she told herself. Don't panic. Where was Lucy? She needed to stay calm until she found her. Violet attempted to talk with a mouthful of pretzel pieces and practically choked. Carrie slapped her on the back. Take a sip. I never put that much in your mouth. Carrie scolded, talking to her like she was one of her babysitting charges. Are you okay? Denise asked. Violet nodded, but Carrie wouldn't quit. So, Carrie asked again, what job do you think you'll apply for at the Happy Platter? Carrie, Violet said, feeling her face warm all over again. People could hear them. Stop. You could be a waitress, Carrie continued without skipping a beat. You know what? Let's go and ask Tony about openings right now. Violet's eyes widened. Her heart was fluttering so fast she was worried it would leap out of her chest. Denise was staring at her strangely. Did you notice Violet liked Tony? Violet's breathing became rapid. She started to struggle for air. Was the room shrinking? It felt like the room was shrinking. Violet looked down at her right hand and blinked hard. Oh no, don't disappear, she told herself. Do not disappear. Lucy, where are you? That's okay, she managed to say. I don't want a job. Yes, you do, Carrie trilled. Come on. She yanked on Violet's free hand, pulling her towards the table where Tony was sitting. Violet dug in her heels. Denise watched him curiously. Violet's face flamed harder as she tried to focus. She felt her resolve waning. This wasn't good. She was anxious, excited, nervous, and happy all at the same time. It was a vanishing act, perfect storm. She had to get out of there. What time is it? Don't we have to go? We still have 36 minutes, Carrie said cheerfully. You looking for Tony? Asking a boy, grabbing a fistful of pretzels. Yes, Carrie said at the same time. Violet said no. Tony, the boy shouted over the music, making everyone turn around. At that precise moment, the music stopped. Someone whistled. Another person said, "Yeah, Tony." While a third laughed. Everyone seemed to watch as Tony stood up. Violet felt her chest constrict. Lucy was nowhere to be found. Carrie was gripping her free hand as she was still holding a drink in the other. Tony started to walk their way, moving as if in slow motion. His eyes locked on Violet's. She inhaled sharply and her whole body seemed to sway. She pulled out of Carrie's grasp and began to back out of the room, dropping the drink on a coffee table, not caring if there was a coaster. Her breathing was coming so fast that she was sure she was going to pass out. Denise was looking at her. Carrie was grinning madly. People seemed to be whispering. "Who is that girl?" she heard someone ask. Closer Tony got, the faster Violet moved, banging into glass doors in the kitchen and fumbling for the door handle to get outside. "Violet, wait!" Carrie said, making things worse. "Don't you want to talk to Tony?" "Don't despair, don't despair." But it was too late. Her left hand started to fade in front of her eyes. She could feel the tingles that meant her face would be going next. She was going to disappear in front of half her school, and she couldn't do nothing to stop it. They'd be exposed. They'd have to move again. The Super's relocation program would probably kick them out for excessive use. Mum and Dad would kill her. "Don't despair," she said, as her left hand did just that. Her right hand began to waffle. And then she heard the crash. "Sorry." Violet turned around. Lucy was in the living room staring at a large white vase in pieces on the shag pile carpet. She briefly made eye contact with Violet. "I'm so clumsy. I can't believe I did that." Lucy had saved her after all. Matt groaned. "That was my mum's favourite. She's going to kill me." People began to crowd around Lucy and the broken vase. Lucy motioned to the back door, which was wide open. That's when Violet made her move. She slipped outside just as she felt her second hand disappear, then her head. In seconds, her whole body would be gone. She ran around the back of the house, opened the gate, and dashed into the front garden, prepared to run all the way back to the cinema. She felt her body glitching, appearing and disappearing in rapid succession as her heart beat out of control. Tires screeched and a familiar car came into view at the curb. "Violet Parr?" Helen Parr shouted through the open car window. "Get in this car right now."